Before the coming of the Europeans to this area, Port Townsend, Washington, and the Quimper Peninsula, local Aboriginal people used the nearby beaches for temporary settlements. The Indians continued to congregate at Point Hudson for many years after the founding of Port Townsend. A few details left out there. What year was the founding of Port Townsend? What year did the Indians stop congregating? Interesting questions, don't you think? Let's see. At the turn of the century, a determined group of the most active and socially prominent women of Port Townsend decided that it was time that the key city had a civilized city park like the big cities of the East Coast. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Chief Chetzemoka. The Civic Improvement Club selected Chetzemoka as the name for the park. Chief Chetzemoka was the only Indian of the Lower Sound upon whom whites could rely. The only one. Really? That's it. Only, man, maybe those whites couldn't find more Indians to rely on. Really? Is that, they can't, I mean, they're looking for people to rely on here, and only Chief Chetzemoka was the only one they could rely on. All those other Indians, I don't know what they were doing. Let's see, Chetzemoka saved lives by giving them notice of intended massacres and rendered many valuable services during pioneer days. Chetzemoka means fine young man. Yeah, I think a few details left out of this story based on my research. So, let's see. I believe the timeline is 1871 was the last, August 31st, 1871 was the last day that Native Americans were residing in Port Townsend, because that was the day they were cleared by force. A military force brought, I assume, I can't find any details, but they cleared them by force. They made them get into their canoes, packed up all their stuff, pushed those canoes out into the harbor, tied those canoes to big boats, and all the Native Americans in Port Townsend were taken down the river to the Skokomish Reservation, and when they got there, the canoes were cut loose, and they were sent to shore to join the other Native Americans. Now, the only problem was the Native Americans, Sklallam of Port Townsend, were they were enemies with the Skokomish. They did not get along. They did not want to live together. It'd be like forcing uptown and downtown, or uptown and Sheridan, to live together. They don't like each other. I'm just kidding about that part. And so then, but one detail, before the canoes were fully out of sight of shore, they burnt the Native American village in Port Townsend. I think it was in the Kai Tai Park area, is my best guesstimation of where this was. So that was August 31st, 1871. Now, leading up into this final day, oh wait, let me finish this story. So they went down to, they were sent down to the Skokomish Reservation. Their village was burnt. You know what they did? Well, unfortunately, you see, the whites, they couldn't rely on those Native Americans to obey their orders, and so the Native Americans came back to Port Townsend, led by Chief Chetzemoka, and you know what they did? I'm sure it's on this historical thing. No, somehow it's not captured. They settled on Indian Island. Chief Chetzemoka said, yeah, this is, actually, he was also very upset they burnt the village. I'm sure he helped coordinate the evacuation of the tribe and tried not to have anyone killed. I'm sure there were people that wanted to fight. I think Chief Chetzemoka wanted to save lives. And but he was upset they burnt the village. And so he led a team back, and they made a settlement on Indian Island. And that's why today, Indian Island is an amazing Native American society that has peacefully lived on that island through the years. Oh wait, no, wait, I don't have that right. Indian Island is a naval base today. Chief Chetzemoka, what happened on Indian Island? You settled there, and I cannot find anywhere where it says why you and the other natives left. Anyways, all right, people are starting to come. I'm gonna cruise out. There's more to this story.